Okay, let's talk about a big difference between men versus women's dating styles. Ooh, this might be a controversial one. And the first time I heard this concept or this theory, I was a little bit like, And then I think back on my own relationship, and this totally played out in the beginning when I was dating my current husband. So let's find out what that is. Hi everyone, Mireille Nicole here, relationship coach, and I record these videos for you because I want you to understand that you have so much more power in your relationship or in your dating life than you currently think. And today I'm going to share a concept with you that will hopefully empower you when you're on the dating scene. I know this can be such a difficult time. It is the Wild West out there, more and more, especially with all these dating apps and technology and whatnot. It is not an easy world when it comes to dating. And have you ever been in a situation where you started dating a man and everything was awesome in the beginning? He was doing all these grand gestures for you. He was super romantic. And then as time went on, it was getting less and less romantic. He kind of stops doing all those gestures. Maybe it feels like he's putting less effort into the relationship. He's withdrawing, pulling away. What does that mean? Oftentimes we can take this personally, and I want to share with you a different perspective in terms of what could be happening. So it's been said that when women and men approach dating, they are completely different. So women, for us, we take our time. In the beginning, we're really evaluating this potential suitor to make sure that he'd be a good partner for us, a good companion, maybe a good father to our future children together. We tend to take it slow when it comes to physical intimacy. We give people a chance a lot of times. And maybe that's not always a good thing, but that's a topic for another day. We're asking ourselves questions. We're maybe going through that checklist that we developed of what we're looking for in a potential husband. Meanwhile, men, on the other hand, tend to go in a lot quicker. In the beginning, it's a lot more focused on physical attraction. And then their evaluation process comes in later. So with repeated exposure, repeated dates, men start applying these filters, and then they go through their own evaluation process after they jump in. So right there, without saying anything else, you might be able to imagine why this might be problematic or why it might cause confusion in our minds. But at the same time, this is so good for you to know going into a date with someone, or when you're meeting someone for the first time, you're really going to want to keep that in mind. So when it comes to my own personal experience with this, I'd say I evaluated my current husband for like 7 years. And we have a bit of a unique circumstance or situation, but looking back, I realized that I was really putting him through my own mental filters for a long time. Whereas for him, things really started when we were dating. And so when we got together, I was already past like a huge portion of my evaluation phase. So I was like all in. And him, being a guy, he was all in right from the beginning. And what happened over time is I could see him slowly pulling away more and more as we dated for a long time. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that what was happening was at the beginning, everything was great. Everything was fantastic, but we were missing like crucial relationship skills, crucial communication and negotiation skills. And what was happening is our relationship was struggling, and he started evaluating and thinking more and more in terms of, is this the right relationship for him? And at the end of the day, for both of us. Now, I wasn't conscious of this in the moment, so that's why I feel really called to share this with you before you get into a situation like I was in, or maybe for you to realize what happened in previous relationships and what you can avoid moving forward. But luckily, I made the decision to really work on who I was as a partner when things started getting really rocky and shaky, and I was starting to doubt whether or not we were going to make it. And because of that, I was able to turn things around. And as he was continuing to evaluate whether or not this was for him or for us, he was able to make a solid decision that it was a yes. And I love sharing how we had dated for a really, really long time. Like I had given up on marriage and a proposal completely. But when I learned about this and I started to show up differently in my relationship, and he got to evaluate our relationship based on a healthy perspective and a more accurate perspective of who I truly was and what kind of partner I could be, then he figuratively got down on one knee, proposed, and 6 months later, we were married. So think back on past relationship. Think about your current situation. If you're seeing someone, what does that look like? What does this theory, what does this concept look like in your current situation? Does it apply? Could it apply? Is it something worth you testing out to make sure that you guys are going to make an intentional decision about your future together? And if you find yourself getting ghosted, this just helps you in terms of understanding what might be going on. And most importantly, not taking it personally. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video today, is to not take it personally. Take this new perspective, remember it, apply it into your dating life. And the next time you find yourself in a situation where things start off really strong, I want to invite you to really focus on yourself. Look internally. How are you feeling? How are you showing up? Are you still doing the things you love doing? Or are you completely focused on this man and your relationship together? And if you feel him pulling away, the best thing that you can do is just focus on your own self-care and showing up in your power, and then letting him decide, letting him evaluate, letting him pass his filters on your relationship and you as a potential partner, and really watch the difference this is going to make, not only in your relationship, but in your own self-confidence and your own self-worth. You don't have to take it personally. He's not necessarily love bombing you from malicious intent. It could just be that he jumped in, he got all excited, and depending on what happens in the dynamic in your relationship, he's just deciding that maybe there's a better fit for you out there somewhere, and that's okay. Trust that your perfect partner's out there. It's going to happen when it happens. I know for myself, it happened much later in life, and if it can work out for me, I have no doubt that it can also work out for you. All right, so was this video a little bit triggering? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any questions, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this, and hopefully it helps expand your mind and bring in a new consideration for yourself when you're on the dating scene. Now, if you'd like step-by-step help with this, make sure to click on the link in the description and let's have a chat. Let's see what's going on for you and come up with a game plan so you can have your happily ever after. All right, in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.